A new datamine is out for Jurassic World Alive Update 3.18, revealing creature kits, stats, and resistances, including the Isle of Trials Season 3 bosses. This breakdown is based on the latest information from the data mining team over at GamePress. Let's go creature by creature and take a closer look at everything included so far. Data miner Pickle Rick tells us that Rebirth Rex is a legendary cunning fierce. The stats are health, 4,650, 1,700 attack, speed of 112. Rebirth Rex has no armor, 40% crit chance, and crit damage of 150%. Resistances are stun, rend, and DOT resistance at 75%, vulnerability and blight resistance at 50%, and crit reduction resistance at 100%. The moveset is all new, starting with Instant Destructive Feint. It's a priority move that targets the lowest HP opponent and removes their damage increase, breaks shields, and reduces armor by 50% for 2 turns, 4 attacks. It also reduces healing by 25% for 2 turns, as well as reduces damage and speed by 50% for 2 turns, 4 attacks. There's also Rebirth Roar, another priority ability with a cooldown of 2 and no delay. You cheat death for 1 turn, increase critical chance by 50% for 2 turns, 4 attacks. You also target all opponents and attack 1x, bypassing dodge, armor, and absorb. The third move in the kit is Alert Cunning Rampage. When secure, there's a cooldown and delay of 1. It cleanses wound and targets the highest damage opponent, reducing their damage by 50% for 1 turn, 2 attacks, while reducing crit chance by 100% for 1 turn, 2 attacks. It also removes damage and crit increase, and attacks 2x. When threatened, there's still a cooldown and delay of 1. It cleanses vulnerability and targets the highest HP opponent, breaking shields, removing taunt, and attacking by 2x while bypassing armor. Critical Devouring Impact has no delay and a cooldown of 1. It targets the lowest HP opponent and attacks 1.5x bypassing armor, with an automatic critical hit, then devours by 60% for 4 turns. Its counter is Ferocious Counterstrike. It increases damage by 20% for 2 turns, 4 attacks, and attacks for 0.75x. Our next creature in the data mine for Update 3.18 is revealed by data miner Illuminato. It is a new common Megaraptor, and it's the next Continental, spawning only in Europe. It's a fierce with an HP of 3,800 and attack of 1,600. Speed is 114. Megaraptor has no armor, a crit chance of 5, and 125% crit damage. Rend and Affliction resistance is 25%, while DOT is 50%. It has 3 moves, with one being the new Mega Pounce that has no delay and cooldown of 2. It targets the lowest HP opponent, breaks shields, bypasses armor, and attacks 2x. It reduces its own armor by 25% for 2 turns, and reduces the healing on the lowest HP opponent by 50% for 2 turns. The other new move is its counterattack, Devouring Counterattack. It targets the attacker and hits for 0.75x, and Devour heals by 40% for 2 turns. Fierce Strike completes Megaraptor's kit. Illuminato also tells us about Rebirth Raptor, a new non-hybrid legendary in the Isle of Trials collection. The stats are health of 4,150, 1,400 attack, speed of 128. Rebirth Raptor has 15% armor, 5% crit chance, and crit damage of 125%. It's got 100% resistance to vulnerability, 75% resistance to distraction, 67% resistance to swap prevention, and 50% resistance to stun and DOT. The moveset consists of Instant Cunning Strike, Greater Nullification, On-Escape Rampage, Shielded Devastation, and 2 new abilities, Instant Double Strike and Swap and Ankle Breaker. Instant Double Strike has a cooldown of 2. It's a priority move. It targets the highest damage opponent and attacks 0.75x. It targets the highest speed and imposes vulnerability by 50% for 2 turns, 2 attacks. It again targets the highest damage opponent and attacks 0.75x. On the highest HP opponent, Raptor reduces healing received by 50% for 2 turns. And on the highest damage, it reduces damage by 50% for 2 turns, 4 attacks. Finally, we have Swap and Ankle Breaker. Targets highest damage and reduces damage by 75% for 1 turn, 2 attacks. Targets highest speed and reduces speed by 100% for 2 turns. Again, targets highest damage and removes increased crit chance and increased damage. You are unable to swap for 2 turns. Next up is Megamimus. She's a legendary hybrid composed of Megaraptor and Epic Yoshi. Dataminer Spinebreaker tells us about this one. Health of 4,300. 1,700 attack. Speed of 127. No armor. 5% crit chance and crit damage of 125%. Damage reduction and DOT resistance are 100%. Stun and swap prevention are 75%. Vulnerability. Resistance is 50%. And rend and affliction resistance are 25%. The moveset includes abilities Cunning Fierce Strike, Mega Pounce, Fierce Rampage, Evasive Stance, and Devouring Distraction Counter. Mega Pounce targets the lowest HP opponent, breaks shields, bypasses armor, and attacks for 2x, while also reducing healing received by 50% for 2 turns. It reduces your armor by 25% for 2 turns. It has a cooldown of 2. Devouring Distraction Counter is the other new ability. It counters the attacker with a hit for 0.75x. You devour heal by 60% for 2 turns, and the lowest HP opponent receives reduced damage by 50% for 2 turns, 2 attacks. Baryosaurus is a unique hybrid made from Epic Baryothus and legendary Sarcosaurus. Dataminer Jake tells us about it. Barry is a cunning fierce. Stats are health of 5,100, 1,550 attack, speed of 126, 5% armor and crit chance and crit damage of 130%. Resistances are stun, distraction, swap prevention, vulnerability, affliction, and DOT resistance at 50%, while reduced speed is at 100%. Blessed Shield Strike, Devouring Wound, Instant Cunning Rampage, and the On Escape join new moves, all revealing echolocation and counter-distracting blight. All revealing echolocation is an Act Last ability. It has a CD of 2. It targets self and cleanses all negative effects, with 100% chance to dodge 67% of damage for 2 turns, 2 attacks. It increases damage, 50% for 2 turns, 4 attacks, increases speed, 25% for 2 turns, 4 attacks. It also targets the highest HP opponent, breaks shields, reduce armor, 100% for 2 turns, 2 attacks, removes cloak, and removes dodge. Counter-distracting blight. Targets the attacker and reduces damage 25% for 2 turns, 2 attacks, while reducing healing received 33% for 2 turns, 2 attacks. The reactive is, at start of turn, if speed is increased, increase crit chance 100% for this turn, 1 attack. Apex Baryotor is the end line of the European Continental Megaraptor. Spikebreaker reveals the details. It's a hybrid made from unique Baryosaurus and legendary Megamimus. Health is 4,900, and it's got 1,700 attack. Speed is 127, armor 5%, crit chance 30%, and crit damage 130%. Resistances are damage reduction and DOT at 100%, 75% resistance to stun and swap prevention, 50% resistance to vulnerability and affliction, and 25% rend resistance. The kit includes Blessed Shield Strike and Instant Cunning Rampage, joined by a bunch of new abilities. All revealing echolocation is an Act Last ability. It has a CD of 2. It targets self and cleanses all negative effects, with 100% chance to dodge 67% of damage for 2 turns, 2 attacks. It increases damage, 50% for 2 turns, 4 attacks, increases speed, 25% for 2 turns, 4 attacks. It also targets the highest HP opponent, breaks shields, reduce armor, 100% for 2 turns, 2 attacks, removes cloak, and removes dodge. Devouring Wounding Pounce also has a cooldown of 2. It targets the highest damage opponent and destroys shields. It targets the lowest HP opponent and attacks 2x by passing armor. Baryotor Devour heals by 40% for 3 turns with reduced armor by 25% for 2 turns. It targets the highest HP and applies damage over time by 25% for 2 turns. And finally targets the lowest HP and does blight by 50% for 2 turns. The Devouring Distraction counter does 0.75 damage to the attacker, and Devour heals self by 60% for 2 turns. It also reduces damage by 50% for 2 turns, 2 attacks on the lowest HP opposition. Group defense shattering impact on escape, destroys shields on all opponents and attacks 1.5x, bypassing armor on the lowest HP opponent. The reactive is, at start of the turn, if reduced armor, increase crit chance by 100% for this turn, 1 attack. Now let's take a look at 2 of the triple threat Isle of Trials bosses. We'll start with the Ember boss. He comes in with 15,000 health, 2,000 attack, and speed of 112. The armor is 5%, crit chance 40%, and crit damage 150%. There are lots of resistances here. They are 100% stun and crit reduction, 90% rend resistance, dot resistance at 95%, vulnerability, resistance at 75%, affliction resistance at 85%, and damage reduction resistance at 80%. This boss abilities start with Blind Rampage, which randomly targets and attacks 2x with an automatic critical hit. Next is Group Instant Fierce Impact. It cleanses vulnerability and targets all opponents, destroying shields, removing taunt, and attacking 1.5x bypassing armor. Rebirth. Roar has a CD of 2, no delay and cheats. Death for 1 turn. It increases critical chance by 50% for 2 turns. 4 attacks, and targets all opponents, attacking 1 and bypassing dodge, armor, and absorb. Rebirth Rex boss's final move is Precise Group Strike. It increases your speed by 10% for 1 turn, 75% to dodge 67% of incoming damage for 1 turn, 2 attacks. It also targets all opponents and reduces damage by 50% for 2 turns, 4 attacks. Finally, it attacks 1 allies and bypasses dodge on the lowest HP opponent. Our final creature kit breakdown for today is the Rebirth Raptor boss. She's got 15,000 HP and 1,850 attack, speed of 128, armor at 15%, crit 5%, and crit damage 125%. And she's got even more resistances than the Rex boss they are. Stun resistance 95%, rend resistance 85%, dot resistance 75%, vulnerability resistance 65%, taunt resistance 75%, affliction resistance 95%, distraction resistance 85%, reduced speed resistance 100%, reduced armor resistance 50%, daze resistance 85%. When you face this deadly boss, these are its abilities. Group Cleansing Cunning Strike. It targets self and cleanses all negative effects. It targets all opponents, reduces damage by 50 for 1 turn, 2 attacks, reduces. Critical chance by 100% for 1 turn, 2 attacks, removes critical increase. Removes attack increase, attack 1x. Revenge. Nullifying Rampage is next. It targets the most positive effects and nullifies all positive effects, including a 2-attacks attack. Disperse Decelerating Impact. Targets all opponents. Reduces speed 50% for 2 turns. Attack 1.5x. Group Taunt Shield Rampage. Targets team. Shields by 50% for 2 turns, 4 attacks. It targets self and taunts for 1 turn. It targets all opponents and attacks 2x. Finally, she has Gradual Counter Acceleration. It targets self, increases speed and attack by 15% for 1 turn. This covers all kits included in the current GP datamine. We'll get Rebirth Spinosaurus Gen 2 out to you as soon as its kit becomes available. Thanks for watching the Update 3.18 kit datamine. Of course, remember, all of this information is from data mining, and it is not confirmed. Let us know in the comments which creature you're most looking forward to. And if you'd like to support the channel and get access to exclusive perks, we'd love it if you'd consider a membership. Just click the join button to check it out. Stay tuned here at IDGT902 YouTube for everything Jurassic World Alive. Thanks for watching and have an awesome day, guys.